Yo, it's your boy Jay Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 2, episode 36. All right, on today's episode, I will be discussing the NBA Finals, y'all, that starts tonight. One of the most exciting times of the year, right? We talk about the Super Bowl a lot. Some people may talk about the World Series, but the NBA Finals is, to me, one of the best championship situations in the world because guess what? It's a series. It's not just one game. We get the best of 7. All right. Then I want to also talk about the one of the most popular questions on social media right now. Whose career would you rather have, Eli Manning's or Aaron Rodgers? In today's episode, I'm going to talk about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA and kind of Jay Best's perspective on things. All right. But before I get to any of that, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, allow me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without him, I would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and let's get straight to the point. All right. Just on Tuesday, real quick news. On Tuesday, I was on the Three Man Weave podcast. All right, so I want to give a shout out to the Three Man Weave. Thank y'all for having me on. This is my second time being on their podcast, so I'm kind of like a reoccurring guest, if you will. And once again, I want to thank them for allowing me to come on. We talked about the NBA Finals. We talked about Justin Jefferson's big contract. So if you want more of a conversation style, debate about the NBA Finals, right? Because more than one of us versus me just being there for myself. Y'all go ahead and y'all go check that out on their YouTube channel at Three Man Weave, and then you can also find them on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Three Man Weave. All right, so y'all make sure y'all go show them some love because they show love to me. All right. So next, let's go ahead and let's get this thing started. I'm gonna talk about the NBA Finals second, all right. But first, I want to talk about real quick hot topic, something that's been trending on social media is the question: whose career would you rather have, right? Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning's? All right. To me, and I think one of the things that kind of really sparked this is that C.J. Stroud, star quarterback for the Houston Texans, came out and said that he'd rather have Eli Manning's career because Eli has 2 rings, and that's what it's all about. So I think that kind of sparked this question a little more than it was at first because an actual NFL quarterback who a lot of people respect now, and CJ Stroud, came out and said Eli Manning. So for me, I think it's an easy answer. I think it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's because Aaron Rodgers is the one knock on his career is that he only has one Super Bowl. Right, he's been to the playoffs a numerous amount of times. He's gotten to the championship a couple times. He's made it to the second round. So it's not just gets to the playoffs and one and done, right? He won a game or two and then just didn't get the job done, couldn't get over the hump. That's really the only knock against Aaron Rodgers. So when you look at everything else, he's a 4-time MVP, right? And he is known as worldwide. He is known as one of the best throwers that the NFL has ever seen, right? When we look at just pure arm talent, Aaron Rodgers is up there, and maybe beside Mahomes. Like Mahomes, is the only quarterback that you can debate is in the same stratosphere as Aaron Rodgers when it comes to strict arm talent. Like we've seen Aaron Rodgers put the ball places where nobody else has put them. All right. So when I look at Aaron Rodgers' career, I don't just look at the fact that he only has 1 ring, because at least he has a ring, right? We know a lot of great players that don't have rings, and that's a big knock against them. But Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl champ, so let's not act like he don't have that in his resume. All right. And when we talk about Eli Manning being a 2-time Super Bowl champ, he got 2. Aaron Rodgers got 1, so it's not that big of a gap between the two, right? We're not discussing Tom Brady versus Mahomes, where there's a nice little gap in rings, right? We're talking about just 2 to 1. So when I look at Eli Manning's career, I see the 2 rings. What else do you see? Don't see a lot of anything else. That's why Eli Manning's not known as one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. When we talk about the greatest of all time, he's not even in the atmosphere of the GOAT debate. All right. He's not even in the same universe of in the GOAT debate. Or when we talk about just the top 5 in general or top 10, Eli Manning is nowhere near that. So he's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. But what else does he have? I think, and this is no shade to Eli because I respect Eli Manning, but you're a 2-time Super Bowl champ and you're also Peyton Manning's little brother. Like, that's what you're, let's be honest, that's what he is known for. He's a part of the Manning family, which is a football family, and he's a 2-time Super Bowl champ who beat Brady twice. So really that's all I get when I look at Eli. When I look at Aaron Rodgers, he has a ring. He has 4 MVPs, and he also is known as one of the best throwers of the football ever. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers just because he has more on his resume versus Eli does have what every quarterback wants, and that's rings, right? But Aaron Rodgers has one too, and he also has shown that he can be the league's most valuable player 4 times in his career. Twice, two of them, which I always bring this up when I talk about Aaron Rodgers because I think that it gets overlooked. He won two when the world was talking about Mahomes. So the world was talking about Mahomes. Mahomes had gotten into the league. We're looking at Mahomes like, oh my God, who is this guy? Who is he? He's something that we've never seen before, which is false because what Aaron Rodgers is, I mean, what Mahomes is doing is pretty much what Aaron Rodgers has been doing, except Mahomes is doing it and winning championships versus A-Rod did it but couldn't really get over the hump, couldn't get the job done both once, right? So when Aaron Rodgers won those two back-to-back MVPs, while the world is talking about Mahomes, to me, that's a huge that's big on the resume. Like he has 2 MVPs and then he has two more, and with an asterisk beside it, I say on Mahomes' watch. Or with the little star beside, I say on Mahomes' watch, right? And when I say Mahomes' watch, it's not just the fact that because hey, Mahomes won, Aaron Rodgers won an MVP on Tom Brady's watch, right? But the world was just talking about Mahomes as being the best thrower of football the world has ever seen, and Aaron Rodgers got those two MVPs on his watch. So to me, it's Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think it's really a debate because Eli outside the 2 rings. What else do you say about Eli? Not much. All right. So to answer that question, like I said, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. All right. Next, let's go ahead and let's talk about the NBA Finals, y'all. The hottest topic of the day, the hottest topic of the week. We have been waiting. All right. It's been like 9 days between the last Western Conference Championship game and the NBA Finals. The NBA does not need to do that anymore. Okay, because there hasn't been much to really talk about, and just the anticipation is just through the roof for this series. All right. So the Dallas Mavericks won the West. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5, and then the Boston Celtics won the East and beat the Pacers in 4. All right. Now they're going to square off tonight, game 1 in Boston. Um, as y'all can see with the shirt, y'all kind of know who I'm going with. And this is not a Dallas shirt either. So for those of y'all thinking that, oh, he a bandwagon, right? He was talking about the Lakers all year. Now he with Dallas. No, I'm with 77. All right. Y'all see the 77 right there. This was also a gift that was given to me a couple years ago on my birthday. So this is to let you know that I've been a Luka fan, been on the Luka train. I'm actually driving or conducting the Luka train. All right. Some of y'all have not jumped on yet, and you cannot jump on ever again. You can't, like, you had a chance. I gave people chances throughout this whole entire year to jump on the Luka train. Y'all didn't want to. Now we are gone. Okay. We are like 15 stops away from you. All right. So this is for Luka, not for Dallas. So don't get that twisted. All right. I know when this episode started, a lot of y'all was like, look at him, look at this, he's a bandwagon. He's on the bandwagon. Look at him. He's going for the Dallas Mavericks. No, I'm going for Luka Doncic, all right? And because I'm going for Luka, I got to go for Dallas, all right? But who is my pick for the NBA Finals? I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games, all right? I got tonight, I believe Boston will win. And then I have Dallas winning game 2 and 3, right? So winning game 2 to tie the series, going back home with momentum, going to win game 3. And then Boston is kind of in a pickle, right? Hey, we got to win this game. We can't go down 3-1, right? So they're going to win game 4. It's going to be 2-2 coming back to Boston. Then I have the Mavericks stealing a game in Boston. Another game in Boston, right? And this will be 3-2 going back to Dallas. I have Dallas closing it out in 6 to win the championship this year. All right. And there's a couple of reasons why I have the Dallas Mavericks winning the championship. I have 3 reasons, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down for y'all why I have them winning this year's finals. All right. Reason number 1 is Luka. Okay. I think like we know Luka's a great player, but we are not putting him in the conversation that he needs to be in. And when I say that, he is pending GOAT status. Pending. When I say he's not there yet, but he's on his way. All right. He is already, okay, at the age of 25. He is already, I'm going to make sure I got that right. At the age of 25, Luka is already the second, leading the NBA playoff history, second in points per game behind Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is known as the greatest to ever do it. Okay, the greatest of all time. I mean, right behind him is Luka Doncic. All right, point averages. Then you look at assists. He's top 10 in assists per game in the NBA playoffs. All right, he's top 10, and he's on the list with Magic Johnson and some of the best passers to ever do it. All right, so then you look at the fact that he can do it at a high level scoring. He can also do it at a high level passing the ball. Already a all-time great playoff performer. All right, this year heading into the finals. So this is to also show why he's an all-time great playoff performer. Heading into the finals, this is the first time a player has ever led the whole entire playoffs. So every team that was in the playoffs, he led every single team in points, rebounds, and assists. It's never been done before. All right, Luka's just on a different level right now. And if you realize throughout these playoffs, he's gotten better every single series. All right, in the first series against the Clippers, he averaged 32. I'm sorry, he averaged 30. Averaged 30, but he shot 24% from the three-point line. Right. Remember, I was coming out saying Luka's doing a good job. He just can't get he's not shooting at an efficient level. I want to see efficiency. Right. Because if you miss more shots than you make, it kind of nobody really cares about the 30 points because you're shooting such a bad percentage. So he shot 24% from the three-point line and 40% from the field. All right. In the next round against OKC, he averaged 25. Right. He was shooting 39% from the three, 45% from the field. All right, so he didn't really have that great of a series. And then you look at in the past series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he averaged 32, shot 43% from the three-point line, and then also shot 47% from the field. So he's gotten better every single series. All right. Like I said, the second series, he averaged 25, but he shot almost 40% from the three-point line and 45% from the field. So the percentages has gotten better every single series, which means I can only assume it's going to get better again. All right. So Luka, to me, we are in for an all-time great finals performance. All right. That's what I'm predicting. Not only do I have Dallas winning, but I have Luka doing it in dominating fashion individually. Okay. I'm not saying every game will be a blowout that they win. What I'm saying is Luka's gonna have a big game almost every night. Like I'm almost guaranteeing that's gonna happen. All right. Reason number two. And also the reason why Luka is such a big reason is because I don't think Boston can overcome that, and I also don't think that Boston has. I don't think Tatum can go into this series and say, you know what, I'm gonna outplay Luka. He can't, because if he does, Boston is gonna be in trouble. All right, Tatum got to play his game, but I think that Luka is just gonna be able to his level of play is gonna over just it's something that Boston can't overcome. Is basically what I'm saying. All right. Reason number two, the Celtics are not battle tested. They're not. This year, the Celtics played 10 times. They played a Western Conference team with 50 or more wins. All right. So in 10 games this year, they played a Western Conference team that had 50 plus wins to end the season. And they were 5-5 against them, right? So against great competition, you're 500, right? 5-5. Throughout these playoffs, they played no 50-win teams. So Miami, um, Cleveland, and the Indiana Pacers, neither one of them had 50 wins to end the year this year. And they was also able to play Miami without Jimmy Butler. That's the only series I think they would have lost if the star was there. I would have picked Miami to beat Boston if Jimmy Butler was there. Like I would have came out here and said it, would have beat my chest about it, all of that, because I really believe that Miami was going to beat them. But no Jimmy Butler, huge problem. I talked about that a bunch of episodes ago, how I know they was not going to win that series without Jimmy Butler. All right, then you play Cleveland. It was 2-1. The Celtics was up 2-1, and Donovan Mitchell gets hurt. They close out the series and win 5-1. I mean 4-1, sorry. And then the last series against the Pacers, not only did Tyrese Halliburton get hurt in game two, but the Pacers gave up three of those games. Let's be honest. Game one, that turnover at the end, Jaylen Brown stole it, hit the buzzer beater, and then in game 3 and 4, game two they got blasted. Game 3 and 4, the Pacers had turnovers at the end of the game that was just um, I'm not saying uncharacteristic. I'm not saying that they haven't turned the ball over this year, but it was high school, middle school turnovers that led to the Celtics winning the game. Like the Pacers had the lead in both of those games in the fourth quarter and gave it up. So three of those games, the Pacers gave up. So I'm not saying the Celtics wouldn't have won every single series, right? But what I'm saying is they wouldn't have won in such dominated fashion. That's why everybody is so hyped on the Celtics, because they have been just running through the East. When I think we look at the East, and say that they can be ran through, right? Because the East just was not good enough this year. And also the teams that the Celtics played was not good enough. All right. So I think that because they're not battle tested enough, the jump they're about to make from the Pacers to the Mavericks is such a big jump that it's going to take a couple of games for them to get adjusted to it. And mind you, the Pacers defense is probably the worst in the league. It just is because they're one of the teams that want to outscore you. I talked about that also a couple of episodes ago. So Boston was able to get whatever they wanted, however they wanted, right? But I do think that it's going to be such a big gap between the Pacers and playing the Mavericks that I think it's going to take the Celtics a while to adjust to, and that's going to lead to a couple of victories for the Dallas Mavericks. All right, and then my third reason: do we all remember Game Two of the Denver Nuggets and Timberwolves series? All right, in Game Two, after Game Two, there was conversations being had on TV by some of the world's most popular, most known analysts of the game. They came out and said, we have not seen defense like this or a defensive team like this since the 90s. They was talking about the Timberwolves in a historic fashion, saying this is a historic defense because they just smothered the Denver Nuggets in game two of that series. Then they went on to win that series, right? Then they played against the Mavericks, and the Mavericks got whatever they wanted, however they wanted it. They did not struggle to get any of their shots. Every single shot that Dallas got, Dallas wanted that shot. It wasn't like we got to shoot this because they're playing defense this way. No, they got whatever they wanted to. All right, so I believe that the Celtics defense is not the Timberwolves defense by far. I just don't believe that. The Timberwolves has been the best defense throughout the whole entire season, and then in the playoffs they had the number one defensive rating. I don't think the Celtics are on that level, so that leads me to believe that Kyrie and Luka gonna get whatever they want, and then once the Celtics realize, okay, we can't guard them, we're gonna have to sit and help. We have to. We can't just let them cook the whole entire game. Then PJ Washington, Derrick Jones, the Josh Greens of the world, Jaden Hardys of the world are gonna hit their shots. And that's where I think that the Celtics are going to struggle. All right. So that's my three reasons why I have the Dallas Mavericks winning the finals this year. All right. X factors. A couple of X factors in this series. I'm gonna name one for each team. Porzingis is the number one X factor for the Boston Celtics. If Boston wants to win this series, Porzingis has to average 20. If Porzingis averaged 20, I think the Boston Celtics would win probably in six. Like if Boston won, to me, it would be in seven, but they would probably win in six if Porzingis can average 20 or more points, right? Because you already have Brown and Tatum. Right. Outside of Luca and Kyrie, you don't have a player on the Mavericks that can really create their own shot consistently. Porzingis, if he is the guy that everyone says he is, I'm not sold on him, right? I don't think that he's going to perform great when the lights are shine brightest. I think he's going to do the opposite and he's going to fold. But everybody's saying Porzingis coming back. Porzingis coming back. Like we waiting on Shaq to walk through the door or something. But everybody's saying Porzingis coming back. He can average 20. You're right. If he can come back and average 20, he can live up to the hype that everyone's giving him, then hey, Boston really has a big chance to win this series and a bigger chance than the Mavericks. So I think Porzingis will be the deciding factor. If he does not play well, I love my chances. And I think that he's not going to play well. That's why I love my chances so much. But if he comes out and dominates for some crazy reason, then Dallas is in trouble. All right. And then X factor for the Mavericks. I'm gonna say two because one of them is pretty obvious, so I want to go a little deeper. But I'm gonna go with Kyrie first. We know what Luka's gonna do. Luka gonna be Luka. All right. Kyrie is going to be the guy that the Dallas Mavericks need because, like I said, outside of Luka and Kyrie, there's not really any other shot creator. So Kyrie has to come with it, has to average 27 or more points. He has to. I prefer 29, maybe knocking on 30, maybe, right? But it's kind of hard to do when Luka has the ball so much and Luka takes majority of the shots. But I need that 27 to 30 range in his point averages. I have to have it. All right, if he can give us that, which I believe he will give it. When I say us, I'm saying Dallas. I picked Dallas to win. Okay, I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm a Luka fan. I'm gonna keep saying that because some of y'all give me a side eye. Like I'm just like, JBS, you fake. No, I'm not fake. I'm picking Dallas to win. So that's why I said us. All right, Kyrie gives us the best chance if he can get between 27 and 30 on a night-to-night basis, which I believe he can do. I don't think Drew Holiday can hold him. I don't think Derek White can hold him. I think he can get whatever he wants, however he wants it. All right, so if he can play consistent, which we did not see prior to the Western Conference Finals, then Dallas wins easily. All right. Number two, so Kyrie was kind of an obvious one. So I'm gonna go with somebody else. I'm gonna go with PJ Washington. All right, PJ Washington throughout this series has made a name for himself. All right, he is that guy in the corner that if you leave open, he's gonna make the shot. He has to make his shots in the finals. Simple as that. All right, because if he start making his shots, he can't help on Luka and Kyrie as much. He makes his shots, you open the floor. All right, so he's going to be a very important piece, and also his defensive presence on the other end is going to be just as important as his shot making. All right, now I would assume he's going to hold Jason Tatum. Not saying he can shut down Jason Tatum, but you can't make it too easy to where everyone has to step over, has to double team. Then you have the Celtics who love shooting threes. You're going to give them open threes, and that might not end too well for Dallas. So, PJ Washington, I need you on offense to hit your open shots because you're going to be open when you're playing with Luka and Kyrie. And then I also need you on defense to just do as much as you can to slow down and bother Jason Tatum. All right. But those are my X factors for this series, and that is my finals pick. All right. I have the Dallas Mavericks in six. Luka Doncic will get his very first NBA championship. All right. Last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about this and get out of here. All right. Caitlin Clark. I want to just address this real quick. I wanted to look at it from a, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna do it. Why is everything gotta be about race? Why is everything about black and white? Right? Why can't we just leave the race alone and look at the talent? All right, because a lot of people I see, and I need to stop doing this. I need to stop reading the comment section on Instagram and everything like that because it's really ticking me off and getting under my skin. Why don't Angel Reese get the same hype that Caitlin Clark gets? Why can't Angel Reese get the same respect and the same love and the same? Because Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are not the same. And it's not about race. It's not about because Angel Reese is black. That's what everybody want to say. Everybody want to say, oh, Angel Reese is black. That's why she don't get the love and the support and everything. It's not about race. Caitlin Clark is one of one. We have not seen a Caitlin Clark come to the NBA. We just have not. And the perfect comparison to me is Victor Wembanyama. Okay, from the San Antonio Spurs, the 7'5", 7'4" man from France that just got drafted by the Spurs. Who did we notice, like, when even before the draft lottery, when we knew Vic was going to the NBA, we knew he was going to be the number one pick. It wasn't a debate. Okay, when the NBA lottery came, we was like, okay, whoever get the first pick, they're going to get Vic. The Spurs got the first pick, they got Vic. Everybody knew that. Nobody thought Vic was not going first. Caitlin Clark is in the same boat. We knew when she was going to the WNBA, okay, whoever gets the first pick, they're picking Caitlin Clark. It's not even a debate. They're going to pick Caitlin because she is the best player by far in that draft class. She is a generational player. Just like Vic is a generational player. And what makes them generational players is we have not seen these players before in either sport. With Vic, we have not seen somebody at 7'4", 7'5" with the handle and the shot that Vic has. Right? Victor can be a problem in the NBA because we just have not seen it before. That's why he's a generational talent. Now, when he lives up to the hype, that's one thing, right? But if he can live up to the hype, he will be known as a generational player. To me, he already is because we have not seen a 7'5" player do what he can do. Same thing with Caitlin Clark. We have not seen a girl in the WNBA shoot from where Caitlin Clark can shoot from. We just have not. We have not seen it. It's never happened before. Like Asia Wilson, there's a player in NBA history, I mean WNBA history, that you can compare to Asia Wilson, right? I don't know because I'm not a big WNBA guru, but maybe a Candace Parker, right? Somebody along those lines you can compare Asia Wilson to, right? You can compare a lot of these WNBA players to players in the past, just like in the NBA. You can compare a lot of these NBA players to players in the past. But with Victor, you can't compare him to anybody because nobody was 7'5" with a handle and a shot like that. Then with the WNBA, with Caitlin Clark, you can't compare nobody to Caitlin Clark because nobody's pulling from half court until she came to the WNBA. Like it's just not happening. All right. So this race thing, this look, it's not a race thing. Caitlin Clark is just the best player in the league skill wise. Now has the skill translated to her box score yet? No, and it might take a little bit for it to do so. But when it does, when it does, The WNBA is in trouble. Like, have your fun now. Pick on her, push it, shove her, take the cheap shots now. Because when Caitlin Clark figured it out, when she realized, you know what, y'all gonna play me this way, okay, I'm gonna do this. When she get good teammates around her, the Indiana Fever is terrible. They are god awful. All right, so what one girl came out and said, I can't think of her name right now. She came out and said that all Caitlin Clark does is shoot threes. Outside of that, what else does she do? Caitlin Clark averaged like 10 assists in college because she had shooters around her. You couldn't double team Caitlin because she was going to find the open shooter that was going to make the shots. Indiana don't have any shooters around her. She doesn't have any really good teammates, so she can average that double-digit assists. So, of course, she's not going to average a double-double yet because she doesn't have good teammates. But when she does get some girls that can make shots, when she does figure out how y'all playing her, it's over with, right? When we look at MJ, LeBron, Victor Wembanyama, Caitlin Clark. Those to me are the top 4 prospects to ever enter the WNBA or the NBA. Has to be. MJ had all the hype coming out of UNC. Came in, lived up to it. LeBron had all the hype coming out of Akron. Right? Did not go to college, came straight out of high school, had all the hype. Came into the NBA, did what he did. Vic, we all knew he was going number 1. Had all the hype because we never seen a 7'5" player with handles and a shot. Came into the league. He showed promise this year. He showed flashes. He's on a very bad team. So eventually he's going to get it together. They're going to put the right team around him. He's going to be a problem. Then you look at Caitlin Clark. Came into the league with the same hype as those other 3 players. Everybody knew she was going number 1. They never seen a player like her in WNBA history. She comes in. Of course she gonna bring the money. Of course she gonna bring the viewership. Of course she gonna bring well, I said the money, the viewership. She gonna bring all of that. All right. Stop hating. That's what this is. It's just hate. It's hatred. And it's all because people think it's about race when it's not. There's just no other player in WNBA history that you can compare to Caitlin Clark. She is one of one. She's Caitlin Clark. That's basically all I gotta say. Because if I go any further, y'all gonna try to put me in the cancel culture, and I ain't got time for that. All right? I'm trying to make a living out of this. I'm trying to make this my future. This is my future right here. I can't go no further because all y'all gonna do is try to cancel me, and I'm not falling for it. All right. All I gotta say is everything is not about race. Let's just sit back for a second and watch Caitlin Clark play, and watch Angel Reese play. Watch Caitlin Clark play. Go back in the day and watch Dawn Staley play. It's just apples and oranges. All right, there's levels to this. We're not saying that there has been great WNBA players. Asia Wilson is great. All right, Kelsey Plum is great. All right, Breanna Stewart is great. So it's not just Caitlin Clark. There's great players in the league, but Caitlin is something that we have not seen before, and she will continue to put butts in seats like she's been doing, selling out games, getting the highest viewership, having the most jersey sales. I heard that she's like 4th in the NBA and WNBA combined when it comes to jersey sales. Think about that. What female has ever done that in the history of the WNBA? None. And there's been white players before her that just did not get this hype. It's because she's one of one. All right. But that is it for today's episode, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. The NBA Finals tonight. Game 1. All right, I told y'all I got Boston winning tonight. Then Luka and the Mavs winning game 2. It's gonna be tied going back to Dallas. But if Dallas wins tonight, I'm gonna have a lot to talk about, all right? Because I believe that it has to be the way that I said it for it to go the way that I said it, basically. Right? If Dallas wins tonight, I'm gonna start looking at it like, Dallas in 5? Maybe if they win tonight, but I have Boston winning tonight, all right? But y'all stay blessed, y'all stay safe. Make sure y'all watch the game tonight. Enjoy it, because after this, y'all know ain't gonna be nothing on until the NFL comes back, all right? But I will be back. And look, 3 years ago, well, 1, 2, yeah, basically 3 years ago, when the Celtics played the Warriors in the NBA Finals. That's when I first started doing my videos, my NBA Finals videos, and because I got good reviews on them, I turned it into a podcast. Right, so I'm gonna do the same thing on Instagram this year. Before every game, after every game, I'm gonna give y'all what I saw, why such and such won, why such and such lost, who gonna win the next game, this, that, and that. I'm gonna be doing a series of that. So Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure y'all find my accounts at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of the screen right now, and I'll be consistently getting out those videos. All right. But much love. I'm out. Like I said, stay safe, stay blessed. It's your boy J Best.